Hey, this is Zoog from Angelspit. You're plugged into ReGen. Rock! We wanted to do something really different. Well, you know, when you've been doing something after 3 or 4 albums, you begin to come into a format, a formula of the way you work things. That's just how it is with working. So what I wanted to do on Larva Pupa Tank Coffin is treat it not like a remix CD, but treat it more like an experiment. Let's try a whole bunch of new things. Let's build a whole bunch of new instruments. Like we always build instruments for the albums and stuff, like acoustic instruments and circuit electro instruments and whatever else. Let's try something thoroughly different. Let's do stuff we normally wouldn't do because it wouldn't really work. Let's get all those old samples and let's go back into the original tracks and take the demo vocals. So a lot of the lead vocals that are on the remix CD were not actually on the album. That's one of the really cool things about it. We also wanted to try a whole bunch of new genres in music. For example, funk. I love funk. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Bootsy Collins, all these guys, like they really formulated, they had a big background in my whole musical heritage. It's not just 9 Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy, etc. So I wanted to get back into funk. I wanted to play around with the importance of beats and synchronization and funk. So there's a track on it that is Angelspit doing funk, which I'm really excited about. It's called Massive. It's right at the end of the CD. And it's vocoder glitch pop funk, and it's awesome fun. The whole ethos behind Larva Pupa Tank Coffin is to push electro as much as we could, because we're both very inspired by electro clash and music like that, but we wanted to push it past that and further that. So the remix artists we brought on board, they're not widely known, but as far as I'm concerned, they should be. They're awesome artists, and we just wanted to pull people in who weren't afraid of pushing outside of what they're well known for. So yeah, it's more like an album than a remix album. It's got 4 new tracks on it. The tracks are all built from new acoustic electro instruments that we have created. And 3 of them are instrumentals. We've never done instrumentals. And one of them is basically an electro punk song where we set the modulars into play, recorded whatever came out, then Destroy X just laid down the vocals on top of it. So working like that was really fresh and really fun. So the album sounds different to regular Angelspit albums. But it is a remix CD, but it's not. The most difficult part of a remix is what I call pre-6. Whenever we work on a remix or a track, every time you put a day's worth of work into it, it comes into a new version of the track. Like you might save it, it might be called whatever -1. The next day it's whatever -2. So when you look at it, depending on the dashes that are on it, you know how many days you've been working on it. Vina Cava, for example, it got up to 32. 100% only made it up to 8. It just fell together like that. And a lot of the ones on Hideous and Perfect only came up to the teens or the early 20s. It came together quite well. So there's this thing called pre-6. And pre-6 is anything building up to the 6th draft, because before the 6th draft, it sucks and I want to kill myself because I hate everything I do. And then when you hit the 6th draft, usually it starts making sense, so I call it the pre-6. The really hard thing about a remix is it's got to honor to a degree the original track, but it's also got to go off. And that's the really hard thing about a remix, is making it go utterly fucking ballistic. Yeah, that's the tricky bit. Really putting massive amounts of energy. Like with our own stuff, it's okay because we scream our lungs out. Like we fucking go at it when we're doing vocal takes and the synths and everything else. But with our other people, to really do an Angelspit remix of another artist, you have to get what they have, which might be a bit more mellow, and you've got to pull it up to that really kind of crazy Angelspit sort of energy. So yeah. Yeah, but the trick about it is you just have to keep working on it. Actually, I've got to tell you, one of my favorite little stories was, it's about the fire horse, and it's a sculpture of a horse that is so alive from ancient China, so magically, incredibly alive, that it is actually it has energy and emotion and anger in this statue of a horse. And the story goes that one day the king, the ancient king of China, brought in the master fire horse craftsman sculptor. And he said, how do you do it? How do you take a rock or a tree and turn it into this amazing horse? And the sculptor just said, I start with a good piece of wood or a good piece of stone, and I remove anything that doesn't look like a fire horse. And that is so important to always remember. It's the good piece of stone or the good piece of wood. You've got to start with a good idea and then chip away anything that doesn't sound like an amazing song. Just get rid of it. So it's all about subtractive. We've just released the Sleep Now video. We are really happy with it. We actually shot it while we were doing the photo shoot for the Larva Pupa Tank Coffin photo shoot. So while we were taking the photos, we utilized the set and the costumes and shot this crazy video with our amazing friends Steph and Tom. And Steph and Tom are video artists and directors. Steph's from Paris, Tom's from Sweden. And they were in Sydney at the time, and we just shot this really cool thing. Their real area of expertise is in, I would call it, art, design, and typography. So what they do plugs perfectly into what Destroy X does. And they made something absolutely stunning. And that video is now on YouTube, so check it out. We were trying to do something thoroughly different. Like, there's a lot of trends going around at the moment, and we just wanted to do something totally different that was beautiful and striking and new. And the end concept was, if you could imagine a vaudeville theatre doing a production of magic, etc., but trying to, like, set in the 1800s, late 1800s, trying to describe the grand future of 1920. For them, it's far in the future, and we might have flying cars, or even cars, who knows. But we wanted to project onto that the whole concept of, obviously, the black, white, red Angelspit colors, but we also wanted to put onto it Russian constructivism, which in the early 1900s, through to around about late 1920s, was something that was really cool. It still is really cool, but that was its real heyday. So we were trying to, like, bring something new and awesome in there. Future of Angelspit. We're looking at touring. We really want to tour. We want to throw in some of the new tracks on Larva Pupa Tank Coffin. For example, 2600, which is one of the exclusive new tracks on there. We also want to work on a new CD, like a new remix CD, where instead of pushing the boundaries of electro, we want to delve back into the early 90s when industrial music was in its new embryonic prime, and turn it into something really fucked up. Like, we want to project glitch, drums and bass, fucking cyberpunk mayhem onto it and see where it takes us. So we're starting to contact some DJs and some musicians who are really open to pushing the boundaries of industrial music way beyond, you know, EBM or whatever the fuck else. We want to do something really differently. But right now, I think the objective at this point is to start writing new tracks and touring. We want to take advantage of my time in the USA. We want to tour here as much as we can. I even want to do maybe some DJ sets, but, you know, we'll see. Primarily, I just want to get our music out there and really explore with other musicians and other artists, and explore with other designers, specifically video designers, typography, live motion stuff. Just start getting with other artists and start really churning it all up. So, yeah, I think it's about bringing awesome rock.
I was not born, I was hatched.